Audience retention. That metric that appears under your video that you probably don't pay attention to. Well, it's the very thing that determines the success of your video. It's the art of getting you watching this to stay as long as possible. Despite not having the biggest of channels, I've managed to achieve videos that have had a decent retention rate, of which have gone on to be some of my best performing videos. But I'm still in search of just one video to really blow up. Over the past years of attempting to make good videos and using 3 different editing softwares across 3 different devices within this time, I thought I'd use all of my previous experience to try and make the perfect video in just 48 hours. So in order to try and achieve that flat retention line, I've learned a couple of tricks that may help that. Firstly, you're probably going to want to script your video pretty much word for word. I know it might be long, but you need to develop this habit, because the last thing you want to do is either go off on a tangent, sort of getting off on a tangent here, repeat yourself, yeah, I got tape over it and everything, or just simply start chatting waffle, I'm not cutting it myself, and give a reason to the viewer to click off. And big tip here, no one cares about your intro, especially if it's an educational video. They're probably just going to skip to the part that they want to see. So in other words, just start your video with that. And same goes for outros. Typically when retention starts to dip, as people will naturally click off when they see the end of the videos coming soon. But one thing you can do is try and lead your audience onto another video, simply by trying to find a hook that relates the videos together. This way anyone that makes it to the end of the video will hopefully click right onto the next vid, and if you repeat doing this in your videos, hopefully they will. Once you have your script and you're ready to film, instead of just standing still in one spot reading off your script, record a section, stop recording, change the camera angle and press play. Throughout my videos I try and get a different backdrop in, just by moving the camera around or filming in a different location. This supposedly subconsciously makes the audience more focused on the video, as it appears more is going on, rather than making them bored looking at the same shot all video. Another tip that I try and do is, if you're a personal channel that show your face, try and use hand gestures when talking. It just really emphasizes your speech and you come across a lot more human than just an emotionless robot staring at the screen. Then once you've recorded the entirety of your script, you're now ready for the editing. At the moment I'm using Final Cut Pro, but even if you don't own a laptop, all these tips I'm going to show you can be applied to any other software on any other device, probably even iMovie, but that's a bit of a stretch. So after you import, cut all the clips and line up the audio, what I try and do to try and increase retention is by doing simple cuts known as J cuts. By simply dragging and shortening the following clip, you're extending the beginning of the audio. This way you're going to hear the next clip's audio first while you're still watching the current clip. This allows for the time between the 2 cuts to shrink, making the video more seamless and quicker, and it means it's an effort to stay within the attention span of most viewers thanks to TikTok. Now you have the foundation for the video, now it's the time to really try get those high retentions. How I look at it, the more visuals the better, especially when you're just talking. So what I do is that I'll watch the whole video and see if there's any part that I could act out and use as B-roll footage. I know I'm not an actor and probably neither are you, but it doesn't have to be that intense. Again, this just gives the audience something else to look at instead of your face all the time, and it can just help tell the story of your video. The next visuals that you can add is any sort of memes, gifs, images, etc. Which yet again I watch the whole video through and see if I can add anything, and I use a white background behind the import, which not only makes it stand out, but it kind of beer-hesifies your video.
Oh, I don't know you were chill like that.
For this video I decided to focus a bit more on the visuals, just to try and make the video as high quality as I can make it. But of course this takes a lot of time, and because I'm trying to aim for a video every single week, with the deadline I've set myself, it's not an easy task. Now it's time for the audio. Now typically some things I do when editing, so I try to put suitable sound effects where possible, just to again really exaggerate the emotion or the event. And if you've seen my videos, you'll know it's usually... One thing that I've learned with audio is to try and add as many as possible. In my opinion, even something as simple as the background music you use, it can really have an effect on the mood of that part of the video, and especially if you can get it right, you're often going to keep people watching. For this video I used a total of 6 tracks to again really help exaggerate the emotion and help pace my storytelling. And if you're wondering how many you need for what length of video, for reference this video is just under 6 minutes, so roughly an average of 1 song per minute. But you may be thinking that's too much effort, and finding songs can be pretty hard, especially ones that aren't all old non-copyrighted trap music from 2017 that every channel has once used. And not only that, you do all that work just to put your video at risk with a copyright strike just because of the background music you use. We could simply just use what I use, which is Epidemic Sound, where you can get any track you want by genre, mood, theme of video, and literally get assigned music recommended to you based upon your channel. Oh, and it's all copyright free with instant download. And if you're starting out, or you feel like you could do with this audio upgrade, instead of signing up and paying, you can literally use my link in the description, get your whole first month for free. So at this point, you'll have a timeline along the lines of this. And to get to this, I'll literally only leave my room to literally just shower and eat. And it took me the entire weekend just to make a 5-minute video and get it out for 9 o'clock on Sunday, just because it's the time when most of my audience are active. From here, there's nothing much you can do to increase retention. It's more so just the click-through rate, which is the percentage of people that click on the video when they see it. And that is simply all down to how engaging the thumbnail and title is. So word of advice, spend time perfecting it. And once this video was posted, here's how it went. So a couple things I decided to change for this video in particular was by adding captions throughout the whole video. And yes, this took a while to add. But now, because of this shortening attention span of the average viewer, it's now almost half expected to have captions. And as you can tell from this video you're watching now, I'm probably going to be adding captions to most of my videos going forwards, just to see if this has any significant change in retention. And as well as this, throughout all of my previous videos, I typically spend most of the editing time purely just on the first 30 seconds of the video, as obviously it's the most important to keep people hooked. But in this case, I tried to keep the editing completely consistent throughout the whole video, treating the whole video as if it was the intro. And because of this, especially in the time frame that I edited this in, my primary focus was to literally just try get people to watch the whole video and not necessarily focus on getting the video over 8 minutes long just so I can add in mid-roll ads. And besides sacrificing the length of the video, there's evidence all across YouTube that shorter videos can still get views. And in this case, after the video being out for just over 24 hours, it's currently sitting on 1.3k views, which ranks it as second best out of my most recent 10 uploads. And this majority being because of the retention rate of just under 50%, which I know isn't the best due to the intro having a sharp dip, but despite this it remained pretty flat across the rest of the video. And as a direct comparison to an old video I didn't do that much editing on, you can see people just aren't that interested and leave as the video goes on. And on this video with timestamps, viewers are only interested in the topics that they were looking for when they clicked on the video, which again in this case limits the retention. And as for the click-through rate, at the moment it's on 8.3%, which is on par with some of my most viewed videos, so fingers crossed if this continues it might follow this trend. One thing I find pretty interesting though is that so far this video is showing up as recommended to people who aren't even interested in my type of content. And as much as this isn't a good thing, as it will typically lower the click-through rates, it's shown signs that YouTube is pushing this video out to new audiences and really trying to test the video's capability, I guess. But for now I'm going to leave it a little bit longer just to see how this video pans out. And then this happened. It has now just been over 2 weeks since posting the video and it has finally hit the algorithm, going from a couple views an hour to well over 200. And it's just had 5k views in just the past 48 hours. Not only spreading views across my whole channel, but it's made the channel reach its all-time daily reach and views by a mile. But this video also got the channel to its highest day yet in revenue. And as for the retention, despite all the extra views, it's managed to stay pretty consistent, as well as for the click-through rate currently being at 14%. And it is already ranked one of the most viewed videos on my channel in comparison to all my other most viewed videos, with most of them being posted over a year ago. So if there's a message to take away from this, is that when it comes to getting better performing videos, know that it's a game of quality over quantity. And maybe just by going that extra mile to add more b-roll or to add in captions, those little things that might be the deciding factor that makes your video just do that little bit better. And with all this in mind, if you want to see what this video actually looked like, or if you want to know about a proven strategy to grow on YouTube just within the next 30 days, then I'll see you over in this video here.